She wants purpose.
Massive thing for me is giving back.
He wants profit.
I just want to hit that place where I can be really comfortable.
I'm stuck in the middle with Jo and Sanjay.
Jo is trying to help me with my business.
Did you hear that?
You gave her 50% of the business, yeah? So is it your business? They keep coming up against conflict. Jo, can't change your mind all the time.
I'm just getting a bit emotional.
Will they come together in this business? Is this therapy or business training? Okay, so really excited to welcome Jo and Sanjay Vasani into the studio today for a deep dive, get under the hood, business growth secrets audit. Do you want to both introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about you, tell us a bit about the business.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jo. I joined Sanjay about a year ago, actually. My background is predominantly business related. So opening up startups in the care industry and doing strategies and just building on businesses. And I started working with Sanjay purely because of my son. He was sick and tired of being dropped off at breakfast clubs in the morning and then being picked up late after school clubs. And obviously with Sanjay being on the road, it made sense for me to take a step back from my career. And I had done that twice now, I think, because I used to own a very successful nursery business. And I had to give that up as well so that I can be a lot more hands-on with Kai.
My name is Sanjay. My business has been running since 2018. Prior to that, I was employed through various companies and I was pretty much sick and tired. There was no scope for anything extra. I started my business thanks to Jo, who actually pushed me in the right direction because I was too scared. She came up with some really great ideas and I've been going ever since.
What did she say to you that convinced you to start your own business?
Just felt as if I know I can do this, but I can do it only with Jo's support.
So Jo's support helped you to take the step and that got you going for sure. Tell us about the business, exactly what you do, so everybody that's watching at home knows what you do, how you do it.
We install cameras mostly in trucks, HGVs, so to eliminate blind spots for drivers. Also to reduce insurance costs as well. So what the driver can see on his monitor is literally around his whole vehicle, whether it's reverse for reversing or seeing down the side of the vehicle, or even a driver camera looking at the driver. In case of an accident, what the driver was doing at that time of incident is all valuable information for insurance companies. AI cameras looking at driver smoking on the phone, that's all recordable.
Tell us a little bit about then, like the business as it stands. This is the sales and where we're at from a profitability perspective.
To be honest, even since 2018, we've always been on a very high trajectory and the business has been doing really well. And obviously with your support and strategies, it's, we've done phenomenal. So even since the last few months when we got our revenue awards, we're actually closer to our 300k mark as well. Which is lovely. And yeah, we've made, 60% gross profit margin. So the company is doing really well, I would say.
And do you want to add anything to that, Sanjay? I saw some hesitation there come up.
Just in the past couple of days, we've had some really good information from some of our clients where we've won another project which starts in the next couple of months.
Good.
Which is around 50 odd vehicles. Then we had another phone call the day after for another 25 vehicles. It's just like when it all comes together.
Yeah.
So that's where we are now. What are we aiming for? Where are we going with this business?
For me personally, my dream is to get Sanjay out of the business. He's been so into it. He's not a spring chicken anymore. You won't mind me saying that. But physically, I think since he was at the age of 16, he's just been working non-stop. And I always kind of like said to him, do you know what? You're at that age where you are, where you need to kind of like take a step back. So I personally think that, we need to be hitting at least up to 500k mark, getting a solid team of engineers underneath Sanjay so he can actually come out of the business and do what I'm doing, which is the most exciting part, which is looking at the business in all different angles. Upselling, he's fantastic. When he's on site, he brings in more work. And I think you really enjoy that, don't you?
Yeah, I prefer to sell, to be honest with you. So with the installation side of it, now we're looking at possibly contracting the work out so I can take a little bit of a step back and get more sales in.
So explain these for us. We know the 500k rev.
Yeah, so we want to be the go-to company for fleet installations. We've had lots of cowboy installation companies that have, really undercut our prices. And we're actually going back now, mopping up their work. And a lot of our clients are saying, wish we just came to you in the first place. So we want to be the go-to people because in the long term, the one thing that's fantastic about, he's got loads of things fantastic, but one of the main things that's fantastic about Sanjay is that once he's carried out the installations, there's very less calls for callbacks or service calls, because once we've installed the products in, it's of very high standards. And we want to explore partnerships. So, have really good partnerships with potential companies out there, the likes of Eddie Stobart, so we can take over the whole of the Essex area. Even though we are just a two-man company business, we've taken over projects of 75 to 100 fleets, and we've done it effortlessly without any hiccups. So we know we can do the work. It's just getting that partnerships in place. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the aim. 500,000, improved reputation, great partnerships which help drive the revenue. If you're watching this, you're sitting there, you're listening along and you're going through this. If I were coaching you, I would want to understand, where are you as it stands currently? Because we need to really understand where we are. We need to understand where do we want to go. And then we need to understand what are the challenges in our path that are stopping us from getting there. Now, with Jo and Sanjay, we've very clearly established that they know where they are. They know where they want to be. Now we're going to look at what are those challenges and the big things that have stopped them from getting there. But there's one other important point. When we go, this is where we are, this is where we want to be, sometimes we need to acid test the where we want to be. Because we need to say, why do you want to be there? Like, it's an important question. And before we even get into the challenges, I would like to explore that a little bit with you, just because of what you've just said to me. So when you talk about the revenue, why is that such an important goal for you?
It's not an important goal for me. I think it's a very important goal for Sanjay. For me, I would like to have a company that people say, do you know what, they're fantastic. They say what they do in the tin, very reputable. I'm not motivated by money. I'm more motivated about making a difference in people's lives. And I think with Sanjay's business, the fact that the reduced fatalities in central London for the cyclists and pedestrians has come down. That's the bigger goal for me.
You just called it Sanjay's business.
Yeah.
Is it Sanjay's business or is it both of your
Well,
business?
the thing is, I don't know. This is one of our massive.
We'll talk about that in a minute, right? Okay, so we'll get to that. Okay, cool. Right, and then the reputational goal. So what we're saying is Sanjay's goal revenue and your goal reputation.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that basically what we're looking at?
Yeah. I
think that's one of our biggest struggles.
And in the middle one fits both of your needs almost.
Yes, yeah.
Because you think, well, we'll make more impact and you think we'll make more money.
Yeah.
So we can definitely agree on the middle one, yeah? Okay, great. Tell me the challenges. What's stopping you from getting there?
So we've had a bit of a dip with leads coming in. There is a legislation that TfL rolled out last October. So we capitalised on that big time, and we actually done lots of Facebook ads, and we made over 70k in sales for just £100 spend.
Nice.
So we really capitalised on that. But where everybody else actually got the camera safety systems installed, and the deadline's obviously now closed, we found that sales have dipped a bit. But for me personally, I just think that's a momentum for us to shift gear and to change our focus and try different things. Where I think with you personally, it's affected you personally, hasn't it?
Such a high at that time, and to see it actually drop by a little bit, you're thinking, like, what are we doing? That's not generating that sort of money. But like I said, in the past couple of days, we've had some really good feedback from some of our customers. So.
But I think with business, it goes up and it goes down.
It does, yeah.
But I think we also we can't lose focus the fact that, the company is still making money and it's still getting money coming in, where there's other businesses out there that are not generating any money at all. So that's the way I look at things.
This is the thing, you're not put this on the board though as a challenge.
I think
the challenge is that you're pulling in one direction,
yes,
and you're pulling in the other one.
Because I think Sanjay was ready to shut down last few weeks ago. He just wanted to close the business down. We weren't generating the amount of sales that were coming in, so he was just like, I'm sick of it, let's just shut it down. I was like, there's so much more to do. So I think one of our
7 years.
You've been doing it for the last 7 years.
Since I was 16, I've been doing this, like, in this
But
game.
you're 7 years your own business, yeah? And then you're like, I want to close it down.
Yeah, I had a bit of a buzz, to be honest with you, when all that income was coming in. And when you see like very little coming in, you sort of like think, well, what am I doing so wrong?
I think this is going to be a very, very great conversation for us to talk about, and also for a lot of people that are listening, because this is reality. A lot of people quit before the magic happens. And you know what, going on this journey, it's interesting that we've got leads, okay, but then you come and go, actually we've got some more leads. So you're basically doing this emotional roller coaster, which we're going to look at in a minute, and then we've got consistency. And What about you, Jo? Because are they your challenges as well?
No,
No,
no.
this is what I mean. So
Yeah.
what are your challenges? So I feel like I'm seeing your challenges here.
Yes, yeah.
And what are
Because
your
I
challenges?
feel like I've done this with Sanjay's head in mind, because I think there is a bit of a struggle in terms of, yes, we are a joint couple business, but I do feel it's very predominantly Sanjay's business, because I've obviously just joined a year ago, and that's what he tells me. It's my business. I'm bringing all the work in, and obviously I've brought in lots of different types of things.
Jo has contributed a lot to the business since she's joined, with all the
The thing
goal
is, right?
circle and everything else.
Well, we'll
Obviously,
just have it out. There's no like.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got great respect for each other. You love each other as a couple, and I think that's a difficulty. Then we've got the business elements and the business dynamics come in. What I'm trying to say is that there are relationship dynamics which we need to understand how to navigate that, and also clear roles that we need to navigate as well, whilst not losing sight of the bigger picture. The 500k revenue target is a very, very specific. Did we hit it? Did we not hit it? Did we do 500 revenue? Did we not do 500 revenue? And also, it's like, is it a target that motivates you, gets you going? You're like, I want to do, like, yeah, it's driving me. This one will be directed to you, Sanjay. Do you get excited by that?
it's a target where I'd like to be. Then I know that I'm pretty secure in the business. That's where I want to be. Because at the moment, I feel as if yes, there is money in the business and it's there, but I just want to hit that place where I can be really comfortable in my life.
So you're really driven that. You're not so driven by it.
I'm not driven by money at all.
Okay,
No.
fine. All right. I think this is definitely where there's going to be some conflict then. So one thing we've got to give it to Sanjay here, that he will know if he hits 500 or not.
Yeah.
And your goal's reputation. How do you know when you feel like you have that reputation, if that's your goal? Because it needs to be measurable, right?
We want to be the place to be for people to come and carry out the installations, because, I want that truck driver to get home safely. I want that child to get back home safely.
I love what you stand for. And I think, anyone watching, you can tell us in the comments. I'm sure you do too. And I think it's really nice. My problem with it is that you can't measure it. You've got a target that you can't hit. Now, the problem with having a target that you can't hit is you can end up being in a position where you're never satisfied. And you also can go on a bit of a crusade that you can't ever win.
When I see the reviews coming back, like, we ask all of our customers, and we have got
great.
5-star reviews.
Right, so this is now more
Yeah,
measurable.
we have 5-star reviews, so that's measurable. When we've got big organisations like DAF, MAN, and they're referring their clients onto us, that's measurable as well. The clients that we look after, or that are on a bigger scale, they're actually passing our details on to their own customers. And for a massive company like DAF and Volvo, for them to pass their clients on to us exclusively.
So that gives you a tremendous amount of excitement and a feeling of success.
I mean, it gives me success for that Sanjay's business is doing well.
Okay, so then we go back to the problem.
Yes.
So we haven't put this down as a challenge. One of the challenges, you're pulling in different directions. Usually when we're doing these, we're getting faster into solution. But this is really important. And it's really important because if you've got a lot of people watching that are probably couples as well, this is not a you and Sanjay thing. This is a business thing. There are business couples that have these dynamics that make things difficult for them, and it's normal, right? Do you feel like you've not had the business career that you deserve, Jo?
Possibly, yeah, because my heart is with care. My heart is with either elderly care or children. I see things very differently from Sanjay. For me, it's about what can I do in my lifetime that is going to bring a smile to somebody's face, and I'm content with that. And I think you've got a bigger goal of actually, making your parents proud. And unfortunately, they're not here to see Sanjay doing so great. We constantly have to and fro's, don't we, of where I think how Sanjay should be thinking in terms of being a director of the business, whereas he's still thinking low level as an engineer. Well, other engineers don't do this. So why are we doing Facebook ads? Other engineers don't do it.
So now I understand your position. Sanjay, do you really want this? Would you be happy to have a smaller business?
To be honest, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy going and meet customers. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, brand new vehicles, and obviously.
Does that make you happy?
Yeah, I am. I asked Jo if she can come and work with me, but that also helped with our child as well, right? Obviously picking up, dropping off, and everything else, which was really great for us. But I feel as if we've recently been speaking about our new business adventure, which we're going to doing at the moment with our nursery. Because I feel as Jo needs to be what she wants to do in life as well. So I feel as if we're going to be doing that as well, right?
Yeah, but also not only it's because you had a meltdown a few weeks ago and you just wanted to bounce onto something else. So now it's like, right, Jo, you need to get that nursery up and running. And I still think there's so much more life in what Sanjay's doing right now. But I think we need to
we're going to do
focus.
something different.
Yeah.
So I put the flip chart here for you. I just want you to write down what you want in the next 12 months. And Sanjay, I don't want you to look because this is going to be like a bit of a reveal. So what do you want in 12 months? And then what do you want in 5 years? Now, Sanjay, it is your turn. Write down what do you want in 12 months? And you're not allowed to look, Jo, now. So there's no pressure, right? So Sanjay, what do you want in 12 months, my friend? And what do you want in 5 years? Awesome stuff. Big round of applause. Right. Okay. So this is where we're about to have the big reveal. And we're about to see how aligned we are, or maybe how aligned we are not. Right. How aligned do you think you are on these two things?
Probably a massive difference.
And what do you think, Sanjay?
Yeah, I think there could be a little bit of difference.
So let's have a look. Let's first look at Jo's, and then we'll see what Jo wants over 12 months, over 5 years. See what you want over 12 months, over 5 years. I think this is really important. Like, what are we doing here? Why have I just done this exercise? Because some of you watching are like, is this therapy, Adam, or business training, right? And the important thing is, it is business training. The owners of a business need to be joined in their direction of where they want to go and what they want to accomplish. If you have two owners going in different directions, invariably that's going to tear the business apart. Now, hopefully we do make an impact in the personal life as well. That's great. If we do, that's an added bonus. But the first thing that I want to do is I want to get this business on track for the future before we even build out the strategy. We've got to know where we're going. So let's take a look at Jo's.
Family for me means more than anything. Coming from a massive family who actually don't talk to each other, it's really, really important that our family units sort of like stick together. Love, I feel as if there's so much happening in the world that, again, going back to family, there's so much love that we have that we can give out as well. Support, it would be lovely to see Sanjay actually support my business decisions and actually take me seriously, because I feel as if even though I have extensive business experience, sometimes Sanjay contradicts me and puts me down and thinks, I don't think that's right for this. So yeah, a bit more support. A chain of plant-based nurseries. My nursery that I used to own was plant-based and it done really well. So I would love to have a chain of plant-based nurseries locally. Care homes. I used to take all the children to care homes, and because my background, I have care home experience, I would love to have care homes and nurseries combined together where the elderly that have the dementia are learning from, passing the knowledge on to the children, and the children also working with the elderly, because I feel as if there's not that much respect for the elderly. So that would be fantastic. Sanj to be out of the business, and that's not in a bad way. That's more to say he's worked all his life, and I actually want him to enjoy his life now and not just be stressed out and coming home, effing and blinding, going, this is not working, that's not working. And one of the massive thing for me is giving back and making a difference.
Okay, 5 years.
Living abroad, somewhere sunny, being successful in lots of different ways, hopefully have grandkids by then for my daughter. Explore the world, because life is too short. We go on lots of holidays, but there's just so many nooks and crannies that we haven't explored, and I would love to do that.
Congratulations. I think you've done that with an open heart, which is really nice. Sanjay, do you want to now turn yours over and explain yours, my friend?
More money. And I think that's pretty much
You in a nutshell.
me in a nutshell, to be honest with you. I do enjoy new cars or jewellery or watches or whatever it is. More work for my dealers, and the next 12 months will generate more income for us as well. Family time. Now we have a lot of family times, whereas before I was working to 11, 12 o'clock at night. And after our conversation a few years ago, we've sort of like cut that down now. So after 6 o'clock, we don't really talk about business no more. And it's family time for us. To retire soon. More money in the bank.
Oh, cool.
So I could just sit back on.
All right, so this is why we did the exercise, right? Is we need to understand what's running through your heads. And in the moment, there's a communication problem. And I think that, Sanjay, there's probably more simplicity in what you want than there is actually in what you want, Jo. I think yours is perhaps more layered, more complex. There's more, probably maybe more ambition there as well in different ways. You have strong ambition as well, but it's slightly different. And in order for you to be able to create what you want to create when you've got two different goals, there's going to have to be compromise and there's going to have to be sacrifice. I do want you to cross out what you are prepared to give up on that board. You're traveling towards a destination,
Yeah.
and we want to make sure that wherever you end up, you're happy. So what are you crossing out?
I'm not going to cross out. I'm going to just park them to the side because I think that's definitely achievable. I think there's ways to do this. So I'm going to put a question mark. I'm not going to cross it out. And I think that's the only thing that would make a
Okay,
difference.
what about the 5 years?
I know my daughter won't be happy with that. No, I think I'm quite happy with everything else.
So Sanjay, you didn't talk about living abroad. Is that something you want?
I didn't write it on my list, but yes, we have been speaking about it. Yeah.
You want to explore the world?
Yeah.
And you want to be successful. So you align long term. Okay, well, that's good, right? That's a positive thing. Okay, now let's go over to your board. What are you willing to cross out?
Nothing. To be honest with you.
Right, okay. So everything on there is what
Yeah,
you want to
yeah,
accomplish.
I mean, I could add, obviously, what Joe's got, but obviously we know about that.
Do you feel good about it? You feel comfortable with all of that?
It's nice to see family time on there because Sanjay is very much about money, money, money. But yeah, nothing shocks me on Sanjay's side.
Okay, so you're both fine. Okay, the one thing that I think is a good thing that I saw from that is that actually the long-term goals are aligned.
Yeah.
That means we've got a short-term problem, not a long-term problem. And now we can flick back to the goals. I just felt like we had to get there, right? And discuss these things because I just feel like you're pulling in the different directions from each other, which is causing a lot of issues. Now, when we look at these different aspects, your targets were the 500K, the reputation,
Partnerships.
and the partnerships. What was also interesting is you were quite willing to walk away from this project to accomplish all the other things.
Whatever Sanj does, I'm always there supporting him and always in the background. I've actually had to sacrifice a few times so Sanj can do what he needs to do. And it's always me that's sacrificing. And I think that's why we have
We
quite
did
a few
just see evidence of that.
issues. Yeah.
What I'm seeing is you're actually willing to do whatever you have to do to help Sanjay get what Sanjay wants. However, you're feeling compromised in the pursuit, which is rubbing you up the wrong way. Is that correct?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, so we've arrived at what the problem is. I never like these sort of situations where it's all one way because it never is one way. It's always two ways. So I understand you in your entirety, Joe. You're like, I'll do what it takes to get Sanjay what he wants. But come on, Sanjay, help me out a bit here, mate. What do you think?
I totally respect what Joe does, but I'm looking at different sides where...
Is it your business?
Did you hear that?
No, it's
Don't worry,
both of our businesses. We're both equal in this business. So
That's what I get told all the time.
Are you a director on this business?
Yes, 50%.
50%.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, this is definitely a small thing that's causing a big problem. It ain't your business. It's our business. So it's in the two of you.
You see it differently because you are out physically doing the work.
It's done. It ain't actually your business anymore.
Yeah.
I always understand there's two sides to every story, but you made a decision to bring Joe in as a 50% partner in the business. I think that needs to stop today. And I think that then we're going to be in a situation where you feel more respected. She'll do anything for you based off of what I'm saying. Joe, what do you need from Sanjay to feel supported?
Sorry, I'm just getting a bit emotional. Love and support.
And what do you need to feel that?
The love to just trust me with his business, because since I've started, I've actually probably doubled or trebled his sales, doing different strategic things that Sanj would never have explored. And I've always said to Sanj, I'm not your enemy. I've always got the best interest of heart for you, for his life, for his company, everything. Love me more. Take me out for dates. And the support, yeah, just, support, give me the support that I need. But that if I'm making a business decision for our business, I would have thought about it 10 times before I actually go ahead and do things.
And then it's also important to know that both of you will make mistakes.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, Bill Gates, don't matter who you are. No one's got a 100% record. Your business partners, you're both going to make mistakes. And obviously there's a new dynamic because of the relationship. But when you work with anyone for a long period of time, there are going to be moments where they perform well and there are going to be moments where they perform badly. And it's that regulation to say, actually, do you know what? All right, they made a mistake today, but they've made 10 other great things and I couldn't really do it without them. There's a lesson here for you, Sanjay. A business only grows when you relinquish control. Problem is you've been on your own running the business and now you're giving things away and that allows you to have time back, which allows you to step up. But if you give it away and then you say, what are you doing with it? Then that doesn't allow you to step up. So you've got to get used to stepping up, going out and doing what you're good at which is building the sales out on a consistent basis, and you've got to have that relinquishment of control. What we're now going to look at is we're going to look at these targets. I'm going to draw it all out on the board. So if you want to swap places with me, we'll start to draw out a plan for you over what do we do over the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next 9 months, and 12 months. Does that sound good?
Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, team. So what we've just clearly seen is we've seen Jo and Sanjay having different goals, different aspirations, different motivators and drivers. And what that's left is when we miscommunicate, we've got two people that essentially want two different things. They've got the same long-term goal, but their short-term way of getting there is different. Typically, we're pulling against each other. And the key here is increasing and improving our communication. We've got some targets here that we want to accomplish. And what I'm going to try and do is wrap up an action list of steps for Jo and Sanjay that will help them to get along better, communicate in a way where they both feel seen and heard and understand what to do, as well as meeting their needs for driving their targets and their results. I think the first thing is the relationship dynamics between the both of you. And we're going to have to look at how we communicate, how we work together. So when you've had issues in the past, has it seemed to happen in the same type of places?
Unfortunately, we have our offices in our house, so we've actually converted one of the rooms into our office. So it's like if there's disagreements or discussions happening, it is always in the house.
How often are you together at work, together, both of you at the same time?
Fridays mostly, because that's when Sanj doesn't work. But during the week, we'll have a catch up for about half an hour when he's come
Where
back.
do you do that catch up?
Just before 5 o'clock?
In the office.
Oh, in the office, yeah.
At home. You need to change your environment, because this current environment that you've got where you're having these catch-ups, you're having these conversations, it's in the home, that's muddying the boundaries, that's causing issues. You need to get yourself out of that environment, and you need to go and you need to sit down in a coffee place, or if there's somewhere quiet where you can sit in the lobby there and talk business and change that pattern. Because at the moment you've got a pattern, and this pattern's happening again and again and again, and it keeps causing you these different issues. So I think that if you change the environment, you'll start to change the relationship dynamic. Part of the problem is you're just having ad hoc conversations. All of a sudden, we're talking about business, and then we talk about business, and you've got all these feelings, and I'm saying this and I'm saying that. It's all coming from different directions. But if you had a meeting that you were prepared for, and you sat down with an agenda and said, look, I want to talk about these different elements, and then Sanjay wants to talk about these different elements, you go through them in a professional way that would not affect your relationship. Now, what you could also do, if you can find somewhere nice to do this, you can go through it all, and then as a reward afterwards, you have a nice drink together and you can relax, and business is put to one side. Yeah, well, that made you feel good.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
In order to change the relationship, often you have to change the environment. Now, the second thing that I would do for the relationship dynamic, understand each other's roles completely. We are going to have a set of roles for Sanjay, and we're going to have a set of roles for Jo. And we're going to understand that the things that you do, Sanjay, create revenue, grow the business, make the business money, and the things that Jo does the same thing as well. You can't get by without her, and you can't get by without him. And you both got to respect that. There are definitely some things from Jo's past where her experience is she's like, well, I've been experienced. I've had this experience in business. I know how to do this. And Sanjay's like, I've been doing this for 5 years. I know how to do this. And so it's like, boom, 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 boom. And we're having these different arguments. But you're both going for the same goal, which is the crazy thing. So what's the point in arguing with each other if you both want the same thing? Will we agree?
Yes.
How do you do this? With your role, you'd be like, okay, Sanjay, in the business, you are responsible for these things. Jo, you're responsible for these. You don't tread on his toes. He doesn't tread on your toes. You respect his contribution. He respects your contribution. So then we clearly define. Does that make sense? Because I think that you feel underappreciated in some ways and you feel underappreciated in some ways. And until you both understand what each other's doing and how you're coming to the goals, is we're not going to get this situation. Now, the third thing that I would do, which is mega important, this is like the big one. You don't care about money, and all he cares about is money.
Yeah.
Okay? But he cares about money because he actually wants the same things as you. So you are actually aligned in a weird way, but you just got a weird way of getting there. So you're going to set an incentive, and the incentive is going to be around the joint goal of the £500,000 in revenue. What would be the dream place, the dream location to go and love life and feel super happy? Where would you both go?
Where would you like to go? I would like to go to Bora Bora, to anywhere there's sun, sand and sea.
Anyway, that's what Jo's saying.
He wants to move to Dubai.
Okay, so where do you both want to go?
Seychelles.
Seychelles, yeah.
Okay, so you both agree. Did you see that? They both agreed. This is it. You are going to go on a 5-star holiday to the Seychelles, which you are going to spend X amount of money on when you hit this number. So now would you be more motivated to get to that number, Jo? Do you want to spend family time? Do you want to feel love and support?
Yes.
So what's the issue?
The issue is, I think there's just more bigger problems out there. Like, it's the holiday is not, a win or a break situation. Like, yes, it'll be fantastic to reach that goal and to celebrate the goal. I think I see it more as a celebration rather than that's my target.
Let's go back now, because this is important, right? Because Jo can't change your mind all the time. You told me you want family,
Yeah.
love, support, and you said they're non-negotiable. So would you have more time with your family, feel more love, and feel more support if you were in the Seychelles next year having a lovely holiday?
100%.
So this would accomplish some of your goals. Is there something else that would make you feel that way other than a holiday in the Seychelles? Should we give £15,000 to charity?
Yes, that would be spot on.
Sanjay's gonna drop dead. Right, he's gonna drop dead. He's gonna have a heart attack, right? Okay, great. Would that make you feel better?
I think a percentage should be giving back to a charity, yes.
Okay.
That would
What
be my
about if you
target.
took a holiday where you could go and make an impact on that holiday as well?
100%, yeah.
How would you feel about that, Sanjay?
Actually, we have done that.
Yeah, we
On
do.
some of the holidays, we actually do go and give food.
Where have you done that?
We do that most of our holidays.
most
We
of our
always
holidays.
take back extra suitcases full of
Extra clothes
kids'
and-
clothes, kids' toys, and just give it out to the poorest communities.
Where would you want to both go and do that? What could get you motivated, Jo, to do 500,000 in revenue?
I think going back to my birth country, which is in Africa, Mombasa,
Okay, and what would you want to give back to them?
build a school, do something, make a real difference.
Or could you go there and make a start?
Yeah.
Could you go and give £5,000 worth of clothes away?
Yeah.
Okay, would you be all right with that, Sanjay?
Yeah, I think I would be, yeah.
Okay, so you'd be good with that, and you'd be good with that. Okay, so you're going to where? Mombasa. So not the Seychelles anymore. Sorry, Sanjay. Right, we're going to Mombasa. We're going to give £5,000 worth of clothes and things away that we feel is going to make a difference, and then we're on for the 500k when we hit it. Yes or no?
Yes.
And now, would you be up for that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So there's 3 big moves that we can make. Now we say, okay, well, how do we do the 500k? Currently, we're at 292. Was that about right?
Yes.
And we've got to close the gap. So basically, we've got 208 there, yeah, that we've got to do, okay, in order to drive that revenue. How much is a contract worth to the business?
A good solid contract of like 50 fleets,
And they're worth how much?
100k.
They're worth 100k. So you need 3 of these in case one pulls out to lock this down, yeah? You obviously need 2, but let's get 3 and you're 100% there. Who would be reaching out? Who would be doing the reach out? Who would be speaking to the people? Who would be doing all that?
Yourself.
Usually, I would speak to them first, and then Joe would just follow up after that. So usually it's me.
This is new business. This is new conversations, new reach out. Can you take that project on?
Yes.
If you were going to get to go to Mombasa and give away £5,000 worth of stuff and feel good, do you think with that motivation you could find 3 new clients?
Yes.
How sure are you?
I need the support from Sanjay because
What
again,
support do you need from
that's
Sanjay?
to be okay with me investing money into the company to reach out to these kind of contracts.
If we're going to get 3 contracts that are going to make 208,000, I think Jo should be given that project because now she's motivated. You're managing business as usual. Jo can go and get these 3 contracts. How much are you willing to pay Jo to deliver £208,000 worth of revenue?
20k.
Okay, so 20 for 200. Is that enough, Jo? Okay, if it was 30, how would you feel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
30. Yeah.
So 10k per contract, 3 contracts. Jo, you now have a 10k budget to sign a contract, and you've got to get 3 of them. Sanjay, if Jo delivers one with 10k from today, she goes out, she spends 10k, and she delivers that contract, we give another 10k.
Yes.
And if she delivers that contract, we give another 10k. And if she gives you that contract, you deliver another 10k.
Yes.
So now, this is the communication. You've got boundaries, you've got an agreement. Yes or no?
Yes.
You've got a £10,000 budget to go and deliver a new contract into the business. And that's step 1. We're going to build the trust with Sanjay, then we're going to go again. Fair?
Yeah, fair.
Now, what I would suggest you do, which is the final piece of the puzzle, by the way, you ain't got to lift a finger. You ain't got to do nothing. You just keep doing what you're doing. This is her job. Go on LinkedIn, Sales Nav, plus Apollo. So what you got? You got a couple £100 here a month, right? 3 months, 600 quid. Got Apollo database list, probably £1,000. Then you got a freelancer to go out and communicate, Cyclops freelancer, right? To go and communicate with all of the leads that you've got here to go and do the reach out for you to book calls with these companies. And a freelancer might cost you £500 a month. So now you've got 700, you basically got £1,000 a month that you invest in to go and do the reach outs. And in 3 months' time, you would have spent £3,000, and you want to see how close you are to the contract. And then in another 3 months' time, another £3,000, you've got like literally so long to sign that contract that you won't even need to, because you just double up the freelancers if you need to. So let me just break that down, right? We're going to go on LinkedIn. We're going to get the fleet companies. We're going to search for them through Sales Navigator. We're going to take the information of those companies from Apollo. We're going to get the names, the phone numbers, the email addresses. We're going to get a freelancer to go out and email and introduce Jo and start to line up appointments where you can talk with a really good hook about how you can get the safety. Freelancer one goes out in total, £1,000 worth of spend per month. Within 3 months, we want to have many irons in the fire around one of these contracts. Within 6 months, you need to assign one. You'll have only spent £6,000, not £10,000. Is that fair? And that's a done deal, yeah? Now, this is the final part of the deal, trust. Jo, you got to deliver that within the 6-month period. And then, Sanjay, you're going to come out of the decision making on new business. Jo is going to prove to you that she knows what she's doing. She's going to go out and get the business. And then when she wants to spend money, she don't have to ask you, as long as it's within a budget of 30,000 a year. So she can go and spend 30k a year in the business to go and drive new business, because she's proved to you that she can do it. Could you live with that?
Yes.
No conversations?
No.
Fair?
Fair. Let's hope he sticks to it.
Well, it's on camera.
It's on recording.
So what I'm going to do now is just going to wrap this up for everybody that's been listening and watching, and tell me in the chat what you've been thinking so far in the comments. I think we made some huge breakthroughs here for this business. We have changed the relationship by changing the environment, by changing the tone of the conversation, and actually putting us in a position where we can get the love and the support and separate the actual personal relationship from the business relationship. Our second step is we're going to define the roles properly, so we know who's doing what. I think there's some confusion in this business because they're both good at what they do, but they're not really respecting each other on what they do, which is causing conflict and friction. What we're now going to do is we're going to take Jo, give her a clear defined role, Sanjay, clear defined role. We're going to get them to execute on their roles so they start working together as a team and start seeing each other's value. We're then going to create an incentive that gets both of them motivated. Sanjay's motivated by the 500k. Jo is motivated by actually making the impact. So what we've done is we combined those two things to create that result. And then finally, we've built the trust through proven results. Jo gets to go and execute and create a result, show that she can deliver. Sanjay then hands over the reins based off of trust. That is how we fix this business. I think we're all good. How do we feel about that, team?
Yeah, good.
Have we had a breakthrough?
Yes, I
Give
think
each other a
so.
high five then, right? Yeah, which is good. And then I'll come up and give us a hug. It was emotional, but we got there in the end, right? Are we feeling good? Yeah. Well done, my friend. Well done. Well done. Great stuff, Jo. That is brilliant. Well, look, go and follow Jo and Sanjay on their journey. You can follow them on their socials. Absolutely amazing business. Let's see how this goes. We can't wait to hear an update. And you want to see the outcome of Jo and Sanjay after this episode and how they got on. What was the transformation? Let me know in the comments too. Hope you've enjoyed today's Business Growth Secrets Audit. Thank you for coming. And I hope it's going to really help you in your business.